The security officer's hand hovered near his belt as he stared Dorian Brandt down like a threat. Passengers whispered. The gate agent avoided his eyes. And there he stood, calm, unmoving, while holding the keys to a $48 million contract with the same airline that was refusing to let him board. What they didn't know was that their little power trip was about to trigger a corporate earthquake that would shake the entire terminal, and none of them were ready for who they'd just messed with. If you've ever been underestimated, disrespected, or treated like you didn't belong somewhere you absolutely earned your place, this story is for you. And hey, if you know the sting of being judged before you even open your mouth, hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because what you're about to hear is one of the most quietly devastating revenge stories ever to happen inside an airport. Dorian Brandt had walked through JFK 100 times, probably 1,000. At 58, the early morning flights didn't faze him. His suit was crisp, his collar perfect, his dark leather garment bag resting lightly in his hand. He was headed to San Francisco to deliver the keynote speech at the Western Produce Sustainability Summit, a conference that practically revolved around him. But even with decades of success behind him, that morning reminded him that some people don't see success. They see only what they expect, and what they expect isn't always good. He approached Gate 17 with the calm confidence of someone who knows where he belongs. A few passengers hovered with coffee cups and headphones. No line yet, no chaos, just the quiet hum of an airport waking up. He nodded politely to the young gate agent and handed her his first-class boarding pass. She didn't scan it. She stared at him. Once, twice, then slower, like her brain was buffering. "This lane is for premium passengers only," she said sharply. Dorian's voice was steady. "I know." She finally scanned, but then froze. Her hand hovered over the confirmation button like touching it might burn her. Then she pulled his boarding pass back toward her chest and said, "I'm going to need to see some ID." He tilted his head slightly. "You don't usually ask for ID at the gate. Is there a problem?" She hesitated. "It's just a security measure." It wasn't. He knew it. She knew it. Everyone who had ever flown knew it. He handed over his license anyway. She held it awkwardly, unsure what to even do with it. Then she put it down and whispered to her coworker, who peeked over her shoulder like she'd spotted a crime scene instead of a well-dressed man with a ticket that cost more than her weekly paycheck. A security officer appeared moments later, walking toward Dorian with stiff shoulders and suspicion in his eyes. No words, no explanation, just presence. That kind of presence meant one thing. They'd already decided he didn't belong. Dorian stepped aside, calm and quiet, refusing to give them the reaction they were fishing for. Instead, he reached into his pocket and made one simple call. "Maggie, pull up our catering contract with Horizon Air, the one for the Western routes. I'm at JFK, Gate 17. Just flag it." He hung up without another word. Behind him, passengers began to whisper. "Is he causing trouble?" a businessman murmured. Dorian didn't even blink. He'd lived this before. Not frequently, but enough times to recognize the pattern. Enough times to know that power doesn't raise its voice. Power waits. And right now, he was waiting for them to realize who they were stopping. The gate agent, Haley, was new, strict, eager to prove herself, but lacking the instinct that lets you read a room instead of policing it. Her coworker Mia leaned over nervously. "His pass says first class. What's the issue?" Haley shrugged. "Just doesn't feel right." That sentence alone was enough to say everything without saying anything. Passengers continued to board, the line grew, then halted. And when Dorian's phone rang again, Maggie's voice was calm but firm. "Okay, I've notified their regional VP and Jack Renault. He's the head of food service integration for Horizon Air." Dorian ended the call with a simple, "Thank you." Nothing more. Haley didn't know it yet, but that tone, the calmness, was the warning. Not the kind you hear,
the kind you feel. Then everything changed. Executives began getting pinged, phones started buzzing, emails flagged urgent. Upstairs, Cynthia Reyes, the executive director of regional operations, stood up so quickly she nearly spilled her coffee. By the time she reached the gate, heels clicking like gunshots, Dorian was standing near the window, hands behind his back, watching luggage carts move along the runway as if he had all the time in the world. "Mr. Brandt," she said gently, "I'm Cynthia Reyes. May I speak with you?" She was breathless, apologetic, and already terrified. They stepped aside. "Seat 1A, she confirmed when he asked. "You should have been boarded immediately." "Interesting. I was told this lane was for premium passengers only." Cynthia swallowed. "This was a mistake." "The mistake," Dorian said softly, "was the assumption behind it." Behind them, Haley stood frozen at the counter, pale, gripping her badge like a shield. She looked like she wanted to vanish into the carpet. Justin Cole arrived next. "Mr. Brandt, we'd like to—" "I don't need an apology," Dorian said calmly. "I need an explanation." He handed them a folder. Inside was the signed contract. "My company supplies every fresh item on your Western and Midwest routes. Lounge produce, in-flight meals, $48 million. And while you may not recognize my face," he paused, "your passengers certainly eat my work." Cynthia looked like she had been punched. Dorian continued, "The next person your staff treats like a security risk for existing may not have a direct line to your VP." Passengers stared. Someone quietly lifted their phone to record. A woman whispered to her husband, "That's the man they stopped?" Cynthia tried to regain control. "Mr. Brandt, we'll initiate an immediate review." "Good. Then let's go about our day." She escorted him onto the plane herself. No one spoke. The airline attendant stood straighter. One took his garment bag with both hands. Another brought him water without being asked. Dorian didn't smile, didn't nod. He didn't need to. The airline was already in free fall. Across the terminal, Horizon issued a sudden operational pause. Flights delayed. Staff pulled aside. Internal audits triggered. Haley, quietly removed from the gate. The airport didn't know why everything stopped. But everyone felt it. Silent power. The kind that doesn't yell. The kind that rearranges the world around it. When the flight finally landed in San Francisco, Dorian walked off calmly, ignoring the flood of emails from Horizon execs begging for a meeting. At the conference, he delivered a keynote that wasn't about airports or gate agents or assumptions, at least not directly. But he ended with one line that made the entire room go still. Sometimes the worst damage comes from the shortcuts we take when reading people. Back in New York, Horizon launched new training programs. Internal memos circulated. Lawyers drafted apologies he never asked for. And the photo taken at the terminal began circulating quietly. A still image of him standing calm, phone at his ear, while chaos unfolded behind him. His mother, Eunice, read the story online weeks later. She smiled, shook her head, and whispered proudly, "That's my son." Because Dorian didn't win with shouting. He won by standing still. Sometimes the most devastating revenge isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, controlled. A mirror held up to someone who thought they could judge you at a glance. If this story hit you the way it hit me, tap that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, subscribe for more powerful stories just like this one.